Hi, this is Kerry Artek with Wicked Stocks, bringing you a weekly update on the S&P 500 index itself, not the SPY. It is actually the index itself, the S&P 500 cash index. I'm calling it a weekly update because I'm leaning toward providing this on a weekly basis, but we'll see. I don't want to be held to that. I'd like to provide other material as well. NASDAQ. We put out a free stock pick every week on YouTube. Last week, all the previous weeks. Sometimes we do two free picks. WickedStocks.com provides two premium stock picks in addition to the free stock pick. And just so you know, we also provide the daily SPY report, which is really the same information you're about to see here, but on a day-to-day basis in the form of a 5 to 10 minute video that gives precise support, resistance levels, and directional likelihoods. Let's take a look at the chart. This is the weekly S&P 500 index chart that I actually showed last week. These are this week's number. 4467.72 is that channel top. Last week we dropped to within about 13 points of it. Last week's low, placed on Friday, was 4507.57, and that channel top last week was 4494.71, which you would have known had you watched last week's video. That same formation dropping, about 27 points roughly to 4467.72, and you have the other channel structure at 4374.09. I'm going to switch to daily charts here and show the same formations on the daily S&P 500 index. You can see that this is daily. I'm circling it here, and I'm going to zoom in a bit. And these are last week's numbers. Just wanted to be clear about that. You're probably familiar with this image where I gave the exact location of that channel top on a day-by-day basis. And as it turns out, we tested it, slipped through it just a bit on Friday, but we tested it when Friday it was 45.19 and a quarter, and the low was 4507.57. So we slipped through there by about 11.5 points or so. Is that right? Yeah, something like that, maybe 12 points, close to it. And then actually closed higher on the day. So this formation did hold last week's lows. And keep in mind, we did not actually test the weekly version of this because of the rate at which this is descending. How you find an asymmetry, so to speak, or an inconsistency between the weekly and daily charts. It has a lot to do with, where the daily highs made on a Monday or a Friday. It actually spreads things out a little bit more, if you can imagine, whereas the weekly chart is just week by week. And so the weekly chart can descend at a more rapid pace, in a sense, than you'll find on the daily chart itself. So in this situation, while the weekly chart did not hold, the daily chart actually did. And this speaks to the importance, I think, of daily analysis. If you're an active trader or near-term investor, having daily levels, I think, is critical for precision. So we're going to take a look at the same formation. Actually, on Monday, it comes in at 4514.34, and I'm giving you the rate at which it drops. So if you take a snapshot of this, you can follow this channel top through the week, dropping 491 a day through the week. And also I wanted to mention, and this is something that I brought up in my daily SPY report, I like the fact that I can make audible adjustments. I've been watching the channel top coming down, but there's also a rising 1/3 speed line. I'm big on speed line analysis as a trend identifier, and this is the rising 1/3 speed line. And really, all it is a trend line projected off that February low, and it intersects at the 1/3 downside pullback in the time frame in which the high was made, which was Tuesday of last week. So A is the February low, B is last week's high, and the moment that high is placed and the market begins to fall off from it, you can create a rising 1/3 speed line, which actually held quite well, as you can see, almost to like the very tick. On Monday, this speed line is 4523.89 and rising daily. But the problem I have actually with the speed line, and I'll just tell you right now, is that if we get a 2 to 3 day rally off of this, say by Wednesday we retest B or we push through B by Wednesday, the speed line gets readjusted. So I'm reluctant to provide the rate at which this is climbing through the week because it may not be relevant by Thursday, Friday of this week. So I'm going to give you a more fallback support in a moment. But what I can show you is just sort of the rules with speed line analysis. So you have the rising 1/3 speed line, and the rising 2/3 speed line Monday is 4319.58, and it's constructed the exact same way as the 1/3, except the line is intersecting with the 2/3 downside pullback using those same points. And the rule of thumb is if you close below a rising 1/3 speed line, 45.2389 on Monday, then you have what I'm going to call here a 1 to 2 week downside objective at the rising 2/3 speed line that is presently Monday at 4319.58. My daily SPY report subscribers have this information, and they'll continue to receive it through the week. But because this is just a week by week video, as I say, once you retest the high that forms it, which was last week's high last Tuesday, once you merely retest it or push through it, you have to reconstruct the speed line. And so I really don't want to provide those exact numbers right now. But let's jump to another formation. This is also the descending channel top that I showed you, 4514.34 on Monday. And we also have a former rising channel top Monday at 4503.08. So rather than the speed line, I think this is second best. The speed line will give you that sell signal a little earlier, maybe a day earlier. This is sort of like the final shoe to drop in terms of sell signal validity, in terms of expected downside follow through into the lower 4300 area. And that would be a Monday settlement, for instance, below 4503.08. This area is changing every day. I'm going to give the rate at which it's changing. So the descending longer term channel top is dropping at 491 a day, which I showed earlier. And the former rising channel top, kind of horizontal but slightly rising, is climbing at 396 a day. They actually intersect very well on Tuesday, Wednesday of this week. You could continue doing the math if you like. I'll show you that by Friday they open up a bit, so that longer term descending is 4494.71, while the rising one is 4518.77. And you can see how this changes through the week, and you can use these levels if you like. The takeaway here is holding above, in this situation, holding above the 4494.71 to 4518.77 area. And I'm going to back up a little bit and just show it Monday's level. Monday's area is 4503.08 to 4514.34. Holding above this area, I maintain a 2 to 3 week buy signal that was elicited about a week ago, anticipating a retest of the 4818.62 high from early January. That could take longer, could take 3 to 5 weeks. There are some hurdles on the way up that, once again, I show in the daily SPY report. But for this, I just want to show kind of the basic big picture. The 3 to 5 week time frame remains bullish above 4514.34, anticipating 4818.62 likely by the end of February. End of April. And if we close below 4503.08 on Monday, that's a Monday level, then I see the likelihood for the market to continue south over the next week or two. Now, if we do violate this area later in the week and we do not take that high out, then we do see the 4319.58 rising speed line. Remember that if this high is not re-challenged and we get the sell signal below the 4494.71 formation or the 4518.77 formation, you have to do the math on a day-to-day basis. If we close below this area and we do it earlier in the week without re-challenging that high, then this speed line at 4319.58 remains valid. If you recall the rules of speed line construction. And so it becomes, I think, a realistic 1 to 2 week target. If we close below these convergent channel tops this week, any day this week, 4319.58 rising 759 a week becomes a 1 to 2 week target where we could actually bottom out, I'm going to say, through the balance of April trade. I also like the fact that this rising 2/3 speed line is roughly consistent with a new rising channel bottom that is based in part on last week's high, as you can see. So closing below that 4494.71 to 4518.77 formations, I would expect the 4300 handle within a week or two. If we do that Monday, if we close below that area on Monday, we could actually test this zone perhaps by Friday's close. These are the speed lines themselves. I'm going to leave you with this as our basis of support for the best sort of presentation, I think, for support this week. I don't want to give you the speed lines, as I say, because if we get a nice 2 to 3 day rally, we'll take out that high, and that 45.23.89 rising speed line is no longer valid. It needs to be reconstructed using the same techniques I showed earlier, which is one of the reasons I like using speed line analysis. It keeps you on your toes. It's a very dynamic approach, and they work. Not 100%, of course, but especially when you use them, employ them in combination with other studies, Fibonacci, other channel formations and such. I'm going to leave you with this image. This is our basis for the week, our floor of support, and above which 4818.62 likely by the end of February. I keep saying February. I don't know why. By the end of April, and if we close below this area, then we should fall into the 4,300 handle within, I'd say, by the end of next week. I think that that's pretty much all that needs to be said. I hope this was helpful to you. Consider becoming a wickedstocks.com premium member. You can subscribe to the Daily Spy Report, where you get this information on a day-to-day basis throughout the week in the form of a 5 to 10 minute video. And it only costs $25 a month for the full membership for receiving the Daily Spy Report. You have a great week, and I think we'll be back next week with another S&P 500 index video.
The daily video you just watched will require a paid subscription to wickedstocks.com beginning Tuesday, March 1st. Become a wickedstocks.com premium member to continue receiving our daily spy report, our daily triple Q report, our weekly DIA, IWM, and Bitcoin reports. Monthly subscriptions start at $25 a month. If you're not ready to become a premium member, I encourage you to become a basic member for free, which will alert you once these analysis videos become part of our paid subscription plan on March 1st. We will continue to offer free and valuable content on YouTube, though it will not include the series of videos mentioned earlier. We hope you become a wickedstocks.com premium member. We offer a 7-day free trial, and cancellation is allowed at any time.